Hi, everybody. This is DearMamaSal, and we are live on a Friday evening, which means it's time for us to talk about coping with life. And tonight, what I'm going to do for you is a whole series of different ideas, meal prepping with a pork tenderloin. Now, if you've never bought pork tenderloin, um, let me tell you, it comes in a pack normally about this big, and there are 2 strips of it normally in one pack, just so that you know that. And what I have done is I have cut them up, and we're going to do different sort of versions. We're going to meal prep, hopefully have some fun, and I'm hoping that you will enjoy it. So I'm going to get the tenderloin out of the oven. I'm going to get it out of the fridge. Good idea. We'll start there. I'm just turning on. I've got my. Oh, you can't see that. All right. Let me rearrange things here so that you can. Okay. There we go. So this is my crepe maker, but I quite often put food on it. I think you can see that. We can make that a little better. Just reposition it a bit more. And so we're going to be doing, I would think, about 5 or 6 different versions. There you go. You can see that beautifully now, right? So here we go. What we're going to do is some pork with with oven actually roasted vegetables, some pork with paprika and parmesan. We're going to do some pork with a warm cabbage salad, and then pork with apricot, apple, and mustard. Getting hungry now. And pork with maple and onion. And who knows what else we'll end up doing. But that's what the goal is. I'm not sure if it's possible in the time, but let me just get the pork out. And what I'm going to do is just put it on here to start. I just want to make sure that we have got the pork seared, as they say. So I haven't got this too high. So as you can see, I've made little bits like that, which is about a portion for me. And wow, it's cooking pretty quickly. Come down a little bit more. There we go. All right, so let's turn this over. Now, the time of recording this is the same time as the Olympics are starting, Winter Olympics. So I really want to thank any of you who are here for choosing to be here with me. How many of you are watching the opening ceremonies at the same time? I reckoned the US had already come in, Canada had already come in, Australia had already come in, and the next important thing will be the lighting of the cauldron. And I reckon that they'll play that a lot of times after I finish. So I thought I'd see that later. Mm. Okay, so here we go. So we've got the pork searing, and what I'm going to do is I've cut up some vegetables here. Red pepper, onion. This is the stalk of a broccoli, carrots, and zucchini. All right, and I'm just going to spray those with some. Okay, this is my olive oil, so I'm going to spray it with some olive oil. Not too much, just a little. And then I think you all know that I like my black pepper, so we'll put some black pepper on top. I also Going to put on a little bit of chili powder, red pepper. Give it a bit of bite. There we go. And where's my other one I wanted? What did I do with it? Yeah. I have these Chinese 5 spice for vegetables. It's really good. Mm. Okay, so a bit of that as well. So there we go. Let's turn this over again. So one of the things I would recommend is if you are cooking for 1 or 2 or whatever, make sure you know what is a decent portion. I was looking that up and I was quite surprised. They say, it's probably more than that. And I quite honestly, to me, that is a portion. I don't know whether you are eating less meat than you did, but this to me is more than a portion in terms of its size. So we've managed to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of the 2 tenderloins. And just for reference, that cost me, and I'm sure Jody will let me know what it costs in the US. It cost me about just under $20 in Canada to buy that amount. All right. And what I want you to think about is, number one, pork is, is a healthier, it's one of the what they call the white meats from eating point of view. But also what I want you to think about is, how much do you spend buying pork chops as opposed to buying the whole tenderloin, which is the best part, the what shall I say, the tenderest part, tenderloin. Yeah. Um, that you're not paying for the bones. And so when I do the math and look at the cost of buying chops, I'm going, why would I? I'd rather buy a whole loin. And I personally like the tenderloin. I find it the best of all. So that's how I do it. So 20 bucks for 6 meals, the meat for 6 meals, I'm happy with that. That's fair enough, I think. Put this way. We're nearly there. It's going to want to stand on its end. And what I'm going to do is just put this into the oven. I've got the oven at 350 in American, and I would normally I would do it higher, but as I also want to be cooking the pork in there as well, I've tried to keep it. Yeah. So Jody is saying it's about 350 a pound in America, so it's much cheaper. So a good idea. So Jody, can you see what a packet of tenderloins, 2 of them, would cost? I don't know if you can find that or not. Anyway, I'm going to put this in to start cooking. And I must say that I'm going to try not to touch those vegetables. I'm not going to turn them over. Do I need to turn them over, Jody? Jody's the expert in doing this. Um, and it's really funny. I'm asking myself, why don't you want to turn them over? Well, they won't look as pretty if I try and turn them over. But maybe I can make a plan. Jody will let me know if I need to. All right, so this is a collaborative effort tonight, as usual, actually. So here we go. We've got these pretty well seared now. most difficult one to do is the smallest one, of course. Yeah. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I've got this little silicone meal prepping thing, and I'm going to put one of these in each one. I think I'll take the biggest ones. Okay, so now we've got one in each one, and what I'm going to do is put different things on each of them. And then these two that are left, I'm just going to cook them as they are. And this will be just straight pork tenderloin, roasted pork tenderloin. Okay. Pretty simple, right? And then I'm going to put that in the wash. In case we need it again. Okay. Yum, that's looking good. So I'm going to start with this. So we got the plain ones that will go with the roasted vegetables. All right, thank you, Jody. Jody's saying a 2-count of pork tenderloin averages about 1.5 to 2.5 pounds in Walmart for $9. All right, so it's about the same price. Just a tad cheaper in this, well, by the time you've done the conversion. So there we go. And so these, I don't think these will take any longer than the vegetables. So that one I'm going to put on top. And Jody, if you could give me a 15-minute to do a check. All right. So let's go with this one. The first one I want to do is to cook it in a mix of paprika or paprika, depending on which country you're in, and some Parmesan. You know, I'm trying to use up my Parmesan. Oh, this one's the unopened one. And as usual, my meal prepping ideas come from having too much of certain things. So let's just mix that up. And I'm not going to do too much fancy with this. I'm going to add, some pepper to it. But basically, that's all. Pretty darn simple. All right, so I'm going to take this one and we'll just coat it in here. Now you'll notice I'm not doing anything fancy. I'm not rolling it in egg and anything like that. This is just straight into a mix of Parmesan and paprika. Add a little bit over the top. Yep. And that's done. The second one, we are going to put, I'm looking forward to this one. This one, I want to try some apricot. Yeah. one I'm going to put just a little bit of apricot jam, about a teaspoon on top. Just spread it around. Now, normally I would have no sugar added, but this one I didn't have that option. But that's okay. So we're going to do apricot apple. I tried, how many of you cook some of your fruits so that you can enjoy them? You know, I keep trying to add fruits to my meals. Oh, look at that, bit of jam. Right, so I'm just going to try and take the center out of this. Timmy's asking me how much is maple syrup. It's pretty expensive, but I actually have the no sugar maple syrup. All right, so I've just cored that. So now we have a cored apple, and then what I'm going to do is just put that all around in here. I love cooked fruit. I've always been a great fan of cooked fruit. Jody, I'm absolutely loving these little containers. Thank you for introducing me to them. Okay. And then we're just going to use up the last of some of Jeannie's mustard here. For those of you who don't know Jeannie, she's one of my viewers, lives in Maine, and she sent me some Ray's mustard. This is the brown ginger. So let's put some of that over the top. How many of you are getting hungry already? So what we've got is a sort of sweet and sour on that one. Okay. And the next one, oh, the story about the maple syrup. I buy the no sugar added one, Kimmy, and I can't remember how much it is in Canada. Maybe Jody's capable of checking it for us, but no biggie. I'm certain that Kim can check it as well. I don't know how much it is. All I know is I love this no sugar added one because I put it into my smoothies and anything else that I want. Oh, $6 to $7. Really? The no sugar added one that is? Anyway, I love it. It gives me that taste, and I use it on all sorts of things. All right, so we're going to pour some of the maple syrup on this one. And then we're going to add some onion to it. Hold on 1 second. So again, very simple, nothing too exciting here in terms of prep. Now this will probably need longer, the onion. Unless I cut it up a lot more. Let me do that. That'll be helpful. drop that on top. Don't go in there, we've got other plans for that one. Okay, so this is the maple and onion. And on this last one, I had big ideas for this last one. What is it saying? Oh, is it saying that for real maple syrup in a can? I never buy it in a can. I always buy it in a bottle. She pays about $6 or $7. There you go. All right, what I thought we would do with this one, just for a change, is some, what do you think? Some cream cheese and chives. Does that sound good? I'd like you to think about what herbs I should put with that, because I didn't give that a thought yet. So let's take the wrapping off here. Yeah. Okay, and what I'm going to do is just take that end off, and that we're going to put in the fruit. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut this apple up and fry it. I just love fried apple. So, yep. Keep me busy. Okay. Oh, missed a bit of onion. So we're going to take this, some chives, homegrown. There's all that. Any other spices that you can think in here? Hi, Autumn. And Hertut. Welcome. Okay, so this is cream cheese and chives that I've got in here. What about some sesame in there? Ah, yeah, you got to be cooking indoors in this weather. Okay, so I'm going to put that on top. This is the cream cheese and chives. And then along with it, I thought we'd do some grape tomatoes. We'll just put those on the side in there. All right. Quite simple. So we've got pork tenderloin with Parmesan and paprika. We've got this the pork tenderloin with apple and mustard. What else did I have with it? Apricot jam and mustard. Then this one is the onion and maple. And this is the cream cheese chives. What do you think? Look good? And I'm just going to cover them. I'm still trying to find out if these covers can go in the oven, Jody. I'll let you know when I get the reply. But I'm just going to cover them with some foil. And we'll bake them. All right, the time now is, where's my pen? What's the time now? 7:27. Okay, and so we will take that out at about 8 o'clock, just to check it. I don't know about you, but I'm quite interested in this. So now then, I'm hot now. So what I'm going to do now is, while we are waiting for that lot to cook, I'm going to cook up this sort of warm cabbage salad thing. Okay, get rid of that. Put that in there for now. All right, so what I've just got is I chopped up a little bit of salad. 30 seconds left on the original 15-minute timer. Thank you, Jody. Let's get that out and see how it's doing, shall we? Thank you. And what I'm going to do is just sort of try and turn these over a little bit without spoiling it. These are the zucchinis. Just move the carrots around a bit. Here, these are the broccoli stems. Onion's doing quite nicely, actually, surprising. And the red pepper also is looking good. Okay. So didn't mess with them too much, but just enough. And I think we should do about the same again by the feel of them. So another 15 minutes. And just turn those over a bit. Let's go. So basically what we're achieving here is, I want to be able to go to my freezer once a week and have pull out a pork dinner. And so, every week I try and pull out a fish one, pull out a chicken one, or chicken or turkey, one of the two. And so that's the way that I do it. So I will cook one roast at a time of some sort, and then meal prep with it. So the apple's doing well. Very tasty. And now I'm going to cook up the cabbage. Now what we're going to do is a sort of what I call a slightly warmed cabbage with all sorts of bits in it. So are you ready for this? When did you last have cabbage, people? It looks like quite a bit of cabbage here, but we know it's going to constitute down as it cooks. So we'll just put that, maybe a little bit of oil in here. So we'll switch some oil in. And what have I got in here? I thought we would have some cranberries. We like cranberries, right? Good for us. Daddy's always telling me that's good for me. And we're going to put some nuts in, but I think I'll put those in later if I remember. I thought some sesame seeds would go down well. Gives it a bit of crunch, doesn't it? Okay, let me think. What else do we want in here? I did have some ideas that I printed out here, and I have no idea what I did with them. What else would you put in, people? Oh, raisins. Let's put in some raisins. We got cranberries in already. No, we don't want cranberries and raisins, do we? No, wait a minute. I think I got the cheat sheet here. Yes. No, wrong one. Okay, let's see what else they suggested. I just know I saw that. All right, we need some black pepper. Well, we know that. And now, obviously, for those of you who like garlic, you will notice I don't put garlic in my food. It's just that I'm allergic, so bear with me. But feel free to huck it in wherever you want to. I think that's about it, really. Oh, no, let's get some. Remember when we got these last week and I cut it to here? Look how much they've grown. So we're going to cut those off again, right there. Okay. Now, we can either put them in with the cabbage, or obviously we could put it on top, which we will probably do as well. Okay, so now I'm going to try and close this magic bag. There we go. And shake it up a bit. Jody, what's that magic oil that we have? Hang on a second. I forgot to use that. The sesame oil, I think. Yeah. Oh, that'll taste really good in there. So we'll put a little bit of that in. Little goes a long way, if I remember. Mix it all up. Come on, take it apart. And I'm just going to put some water in there, just so it steams a little bit. And yeah, we're going to have some fun with this. I actually meant to cook it in something else. I was going to cook it in here. Now that I've got the fat on there, I wonder if I can. Maybe not. I'll just leave it. So I think they call this a warmed cabbage salad. So my question was, when did you last have cabbage? I think cabbage is one of those things that I don't have very often, but I have it in the house all the time. And the reason I have it in the house is it lasts so long. Let me show you here. I've just got a new one, which is why I'm using up that one. But this is a huge one. I probably only need about a quarter of this. So this month, I will be eating a lot of coleslaw and also, trying to use the cabbage up in different ways. Yeah, add it to soups, great in soups. Is that the... can you freeze it? I didn't know you could freeze it. No, this is actually my crepe maker. Kimmy's asking, is that a slow cooker? No, this is an extremely fast cooker. It's my crepe maker. So, it's been in the pan, people. Maybe I'll still do it. It's just going to be very awkward to cook it that way. So I learned something. I didn't know that you could freeze cabbage. So thank you. That's why I love doing these experiments with you, because you learn things, right? I'm thinking if I chop that apple up, that'll go nicely in there, don't you think? I think so. What am I going to do? My apple. Do what I like, right? Okay, and now I'm just going to wipe off the top of that cookie. Got a wet cloth here somewhere. Just want to get the oil off it. Yeah. And then it will do. Just want to clean this up. The worst of it off anyway. There we go. That's what we need. And the reason I want to do that is I want to put my frying pan on top, and I don't want to scratch it more than it has to. I'm going to use it as a little bit of water on there. Oh, wait a minute. Don't let's put water. Why don't we put some leftover wine in there? And I've also got the leftovers. There was a little bit of this fruity HP sauce stuff. And so I just put a little bit of water in with that, and let's pack that in as well. All adds to the taste, right? Now we can turn it up a bit. And I'm going to cut up the apple rather than, you know, I want to eat it. A little bit of soy sauce. I'm getting hungry. All right, so Jody, how much time have we got left for the stuff that's trying to cook in the oven? Do you know? Now the question is, which one of these do you want me to eat for dinner? When I say which one do you want me to eat for dinner, but what if you could vote? What have we got? We've got the straight pan fried, the oven fried vegetables, oven baked vegetables. We've got the paprika with Parmesan. We've got the warm cabbage salad that we're making here, the apricot, apple, and mustard, and then the maple syrup and onion, and then we have the cream cheese and chives and grape tomatoes. So they're all, one of them. Oh, okay, fine. So good question. Jody's suggesting I get it out and have a look at it, and then we'll reset the timer. Good thinking, Jody. Let's check what temperature this is. That will help us decide. Pork. Yeah. Pork should cook to an internal temperature of about 160. And this, at the moment, we'll find out what it is. Just going to get the vegetables out. Oh, the pork's done. Surprise, surprise. I didn't expect it to be done that quickly. Wow. Maybe. Yeah. Okay. So this pork is done. I wonder if the other pork is done. Vegetables look just about done. Pork. The carrots are still pretty hard. That's just about done. All right, well, Jody, we'll put the vegetables in for another 15 now. And let's see how this is. This doesn't even look like it started to cook, quite honestly. More than I thought. but not done. So this needs more. Okay. Now, what's so nice about these is when it's all done, I can just leave it in here and freeze it as it is. How many of you going, that's clever? All right, I cook it, cool it, and then freeze it. And then it'll come out in these nice little pucks, ready to eat. So those are done. We'll let those cool. And let me just work on the cabbage a little bit. Mm. And by the way, if you haven't got wine, I always keep balsamic vinegar. So if I want to add wine to a dish, but I haven't got the wine, I just put balsamic vinegar in because that's where it comes from, wine. Put that up a bit more. Try not to burn itself. So what we've done basically is use up a lot of stuff that I was, bottom of a bottle here. You know, I need to use up this cabbage. I need to use up these vegetables because new groceries came in yesterday. So as you know, I always on Fridays meal prep stuff with stuff that needs to get cooked. All right, so Kimmy's saying maple syrup and other stuff is out of our control by the sellers on Amazon. They need to start watching for these sellers and stop them from jacking up the prices. Jody is answering to that Kimmy, the supply chain is compromised. We know that prices on everything are going up. Just look at the price of gas, Kim. I think the price of gas has doubled in a year. All right. And so if the price of gas doubles, you need gas to transport stuff from all the way from Canada to wherever you are. Is it making some sense as to why the prices have gone up? It's not Amazon price gouging, which I know is what you think. It is this, because of the pandemic, because of the supply chain problems, and the cost of gas to transport stuff, all the prices are going up. I'm horrified at the price of meat at the moment, which is why I am doing everything I can to do meals with you that are tasty and you don't feel like you're scrimping and saving, but on the other hand, you are doing a good job of making the best out of it. And I don't know about you, I'd rather have a smaller portion of meat and have it really tasty. And to me, that's the better way to go. Now, I've got a couple of notes here about what we're doing. I just want to make sure that I've covered them because it's important to understand why we should eat pork occasionally if your religion allows you to. Obviously, it's the same as right. All right. So check your local prices and see what is cheaper at the moment. Is buying chops cheaper than buying pork tenderloin or a whole loin? Sometimes you can get a whole loin this big for about $20. Now, it's not quite as tender as the tenderloin, but the loin itself, will make you probably 15 chops, and it is loin chops, and it's far, far more economical. The other thing is because it's boneless, you're not paying for the bones. When you buy chops with bones in it, if you think about it, you're paying for the weight of the bones. And unless you are big in cooking soups and things from the bones, or you've got an animal that loves them, I would say go the full roast idea. Now, I don't buy a big pork roast because I know which part of the pork I like the most. What about you guys? And so that's the same thing. When I buy turkey, it's the one I don't buy a whole turkey because I don't eat most of it. I don't like the dark meat so much. So I will buy a pre-prepared white turkey type roll. All right. So Kimmy, that is quite normal. Kimmy's saying, for instance, $100 for Costco paper towels when you can get them for 14. Where is it $100 for cost? Okay, I think, let me redo this. I think she's saying you can get them for 14 bucks at Costco, but 19 online. How much does it cost you at your corner store? Because I bet you it's way more. All right. And so that's the way you've got to look at it. It's all about convenience. Costco buys in, yeah. So do you get it delivered for that price? You don't have to get out of in your car and spend gas, right? That's how I look at it. To me, all these things, I don't have to have wear and tear on my car. I get it delivered. So that to me is worth the extra. But that's just me. And I understand that for some people it isn't. That's okay. So Kimmy, totally understand that the price difference. But again, if I ask you how much would you pay for it at the local corner store if you had to go there, I think you'd find it would be even more expensive, which is why it's called a convenience store, so they can charge you more. Is it, it's interesting, isn't it? I personally, I buy a different brand from you, and I'm not quite sure how much I pay. I think quite a bit more than that. So I think if you can get paper towels today at 14 bucks for a pack, yeah, I'd be definitely buying it. I've got a feeling we're paying way more than that. Yeah. Jody's saying, thank you for looking it up, Jody. Jody's saying she's seeing prices of $20 to $40 on Amazon for name brand paper towels. All right. So here's the thing. Try not to use paper towels. Rather spend 20 bucks on face cloths, which is what I do. Right. And this to my mind is spend 20 bucks and get some face cloths and use those and huck them in the washing machine. It will save you a fortune on paper towels. I only use paper towels for mopping up greasy things. You know what I mean? I don't use them for everyday cleanup here, there, and everywhere. I use these, and then they go in my washing machine. I'm certain I've talked to you about that. Saves me a fortune in paper towels. And by the way, I originally had white ones. I recommend getting the darker ones for obvious reasons. That's cooking up nicely. So I should have one helping of this for tonight, and then I'll be able to freeze some. So Jody, talk to me about freezing cabbage. All right. If I had room in my deep freeze, which I'm going to make, but just cut it up and freeze it, or do you parboil it first? Tell me more. I have never frozen cabbage. That smells so good. I can smell That's sesame oil in there. Smells really good. All right. So, given a choice, which one would you make for yourself of the ones that we're making? I'm just interested to know which ones appeal to which people. But can you see, I'm basically making 6 different meals that I can pull out of the freezer. And the ones that I did in the 4-pack, I will literally freeze them in there. They'll be exactly the right square shape, for the liquid that's in there. And then I will just bag them like that in my freezer. So I'm quite looking forward to that. And these that are in here, I will just bag them separately. And then I will maybe add roast potatoes one day. All right, so here we go. Jody's saying, I chop it up and freeze it raw in a heavy-duty freezer bag. Then it's ready for a quick saute or adding to a soup or casserole or stir fry. Yeah, just grab a handful. Thank you so much. I will definitely do that because I didn't expect one to be as big as my head. In fact, I think it's bigger than my head, which is difficult to believe. 3 minutes on the timer. That's excellent. So excited about this. And quite honestly, we've done it in 1 hour. I thought it would take it as a full 2 hours to do this, and we've done it in 1 hour. 6 meals ready to go. I cannot tell you how good that smells. Now, I don't want it to be cooked all the way through and mushy. I want it to be crunchy because that will be really nice, I think. So let's get those other ones out to see how they're doing. We're not in any rush. I really thought this would take 2 hours to do. Oh, yeah, that looks done. Up to 140. Yeah, 41. Okay, so it's slowing down a bit, so it needs just a little bit more. This one is not even at that. This one is 134. This one is, oh, this one with the cream cheese on it is the most cooked of all. So we'll give it another 15 and we should be good. So Jody, what time have we got here? So 8:15, my time would be good. That would be late. Now, this would have taken less time had I had the oven up at 400, which I prefer to cook at a lower temperature myself. So there we go. So now the question is, what am I going to do with the vegetables? All right. So when I have leftover mashed potato, which I make sometimes, I do them in these little muffin trays because it's a great way to just go, okay, this is a portion. Now, a portion of vegetables would probably be two of these, but mashed potato, it's one of these, all right? And I think it really helps me with my portion control. So what we're going to do is we want a little bit of each in each. Okay. A little bit of that. Some of that. Some of that on top. And please notice we're eating the rainbow. All right. And the reason for that is we know when we eat the rainbow, we are eating healthily. So we've got the green of the zucchini and of the broccoli stems. We've got the carrot, orange. Might add a few carrots on there. And we've got the red onion and red pepper. Now, for those of you who have a family, obviously, you can make a much bigger pan, but that will keep me going through this week. Except I already have other vegetables, but so this basically, when I'm in a hurry, I know it's already cooked. I know I've just got to warm it up and it'll be awesome. So we'll let that cool and then I will freeze it just as it is. And when it's frozen, it'll come out of the pack just as it is. And I would try and eat two of those for a meal. How about you guys? It would be basically one of these to me is a serving of meat, right? Like that, two vegetables. And if I'm having carbs, it would also be one puck, not more. So that's how I work out how big my meat portion is, right? Will it fit into the puck? And if it does, I mean, there's a little bit that hangs out, but I cut it badly. So in fact, it would be a good idea just to put these in here, because I can freeze them in here with the vegetables. That's what you call multitasking. And now, adding the wine and the sesame oil is a really good idea. And I think that's just about it. It's still going to be crunchy, the cabbage. It's sort of a cross, al dente. It's going to be a cross between a little bit cooked and not too much. But I want to tell you that definitely, I've got a taste of it because it smells so good. I try not to burn myself in the process. We're crunchy. Gonna cook it a little bit more. I want to tell you, I'm getting blasts of flavor. The sesame oil is coming through. The wine has the wine just gives it that mellow taste, if you know what I mean on that one. Um, that's pretty healthy. And I will be able to freeze it as well for the amount that I don't want. So what I'm going to do is get my other one like this. Now, I'm going to actually have that for dinner, some of it anyway. But can you see that that wasn't a whole lot of work? And that we have got how many more minutes left, Jody? Not that many, I would think. In that time, we've gone from sort of start to finish and got 6 meals out of it. Using leftover vegetables, 8 minutes left, thank you. Using leftover vegetables for the week. I've got no carbs, right? I haven't done any carbs at the moment. What I'm going to do is when I plate the cabbage salad thing, I'm going to throw a little bit of chow mein noodle on top just to give it a bit of crunch. I think that's good. But my question is, which of the pork am I going to eat? Now, logic says, so you should eat one of these. And I'm going, because it's, the others are all very fancy, but I think I'm going to have one of the fancy ones. Now, what I've also done is I've got some orange here that I need to use up. So I'm going to freeze that with the pork here so that I don't waste the orange. And we know pork and orange always taste great. Do that. All right. I think I'm going to take the wrapping off it. And now let that cheese melt a bit. Good. Okay, put some of this away. We can turn this off. You know something? I think I'm going to put it in here and freeze it in here. Why? I've got Yvonne coming tomorrow. And I can just warm this up as it is. Good idea, so. Yum. So I'm definitely going to have some of that. I'm going to let that cool a little. All right, how are we on time, Jody? Getting close? 4 minutes. Good. And quite honestly, they are probably cooked enough to be safe. But I don't know about you. I do like to cook pork properly. I don't do rare pork very well at all. So from that perspective, I really like to make sure it is cooked. So I'm going to do steak. Oops. And that's why I like mason jars, because when they fall, they don't shatter. So what we're going to do is plate this up. What did I do with it? So we know we've got cabbage, we've got cranberries, we've got apple in here. So it's got lots of good taste in it. We're going to add some nuts, even better, a little bit of crunch, and then just going to crunch up a few. What do you think? Now, you don't see a lot of color, but we know that we've got the green of the cabbage, we've got the green of the chives, we've got onion, and we've got the protein of the nuts. So what shall we add to it to give it some color? Some tomato, I think. That would help. Some raw tomato. All right. I got this eating the rainbow really solidly in my head now. I keep thanking Benji for letting me know about that. So here's what I'm going to do. Just put we need some more. Oh, I forgot we've also got the apple in there. So we know we've got quite a few colors in there already, but that sort of makes it look a little bit more. Oh, we'll put some fresh chives over the top. That'll give it a bit more color. Scissors. There we go. And seeing as we have it, I'm just going to put some parsley as well. All the green stuff's good for us. There we go. That looks good. Yes, Kimmy is saying eat the food pyramid. Yes. And so to me, I just need to be able to look at my plate and can I see a lot of different colors? And if the answer is yes, then I know I've got a pretty balanced meal. And so obviously when I take out this meat and add these vegetables, I know I have lots of color. So I'm looking forward to that. All right. So let's get the meat out. Well, I'm getting hungry now. It actually looks different now, so it'll be interesting to see how far it's come. Yep, this one is definitely cooked. This is the one with the Parmesan cheese. This is the apple and apricot jam. Yum. It sounds so good. And this one is maple and onion. I can do with a little bit more, but quite honestly, I think it's cooked enough to freeze. You know what I mean? By the time it has, sat here for a while, it's going to still continue to cook. It's, oh, there we go, 155. Yeah, so that's good, 159. Okay, it's ready. And this one is the cream cheese tribes. That's the one I'm going to have. That is the one I'm going to have. I just think that sounds so tasty to me. Now the question is, can I get it out of here, people? Oh, not as easily as I thought. And more tomato. There we go. Does it look appetizing? Does it look that it's got lots of flavors in it? And can I go and eat it now, please? This is DearMamaSal saying, let's keep being creative. This took us an hour and a half start to finish, and we got 6 meals done. These I'm going to let cool, and then I will freeze them in this container. And then, by the way, hello, Lionel. I forgot to say hello. I beg your pardon. Anyway, I'm going to freeze them in that container and then bag them up. And so there we go. We've got this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 meals for $20. I like that. This is DearMamaSal saying, hope you enjoyed it. Enjoy the Olympics if you're somebody who watches them. I will see you on Sunday when we will talk about coping with stress. And in the meantime, thank you so much for being here with me. It was a pleasure to cook this lot. And I enjoyed it. I hope you did too. If you did, give it a thumbs up, please, down below and tell me, which one did you like the look of the best. This is DearMamaSal saying thanks, Jody and Lionel. And bye-bye for now.